Today's topic for the live takeover with me, Shay Johnson, is fibroid sizes. I get a lot of questions, as I stated in the last live, on what size were my fibroids I had previously till now, and what size are the fibroids that I actually have right now. I have fibroids that are smaller. Some of you had more, some of you had less, but we're all going through the same process of dealing with the symptoms behind it. So regardless, let's get into it. When I found out I had fibroids about 5 years ago, and I decided to remove them with a myomectomy. When I first went in, they told me, this is a grapefruit, because everybody uses a grapefruit as an example, but they told me one of my fibroids were the size of a grapefruit. I waited that long, and I allowed my fibroids to grow to one of them became the size, and this is why my stomach was like really poking out. We'll sit this right here so you can see that. And what's funny is I had 4 of them. So I had one the size of a grapefruit. They didn't know I had 4 until they did the surgery. But then they seen another that was about the size of this line here that was attached to it, like this, right? It's crazy, isn't it? A tumor this big, crazy. And then I had another one that was the little small one. This is a little tomato. And that one was sitting kind of on top of the 2 like this. Oh, my tomato fell. I got another one. So I was too scared to do the surgery immediately because I was just terrified of surgeries. I never had a surgery before. I don't like needles. If you know me, you know that. So I waited like an idiot. I waited. And because I waited, that aggressive fibroid that I had that was the size of a grapefruit, I decided to buy another grapefruit. It grew bigger. By the time I made my decision to remove the fibroid that I thought was this size, it grew even bigger over a matter of like 6-7 months. I literally lingered because I was just terrified of what would happen. So let's get rid of this smaller grapefruit, show you the actual size. They actually told me it was the size of it was the size of almost 2 grapefruits. So I would say like a grapefruit and a half. Say if I cut half of this off, then that was like the size of my fibroid. That's why I looked a little pregnant and I had so many complications. So anyway, imagine the grapefruit size fibroid, the lemon size fibroid, and then you had this little tomato sitting on the side over there. But when they went in to remove all of my fibroids, keep in mind, this is when I first had fibroids, they found a 4th fibroid. Look, my tomatoes falling all over the place. Oh, Lord. But they found a 4th fibroid that was hiding in the back of this big, large fibroid, and they removed all 4 of them. Thank God. So I was happy. It was during my first trimester, if I'm not mistaken, maybe that, closer to that 3rd month is when I found out my fibroids came back. So let's do another demonstration of that. So I'm like, okay, I'm not feeling the symptoms that I had before. They're there, I'll deal with it. These are the fibroids I have right now. So I'll give you an example. I would say one is half the size of this line. It's not even this big. I would say one is half the size of this line because I have 3 now. And then we have 2 smaller ones that are the size of this tomato. So these are the fibroids that are sitting in me right now. Keep in mind, I'm trying to have that second baby, and my body has been reacting really strangely. So I have to figure out, is it best because I spoke with my doctor. She told me to remove the fibroids. I talked to you guys about that during my last live. She told me to remove them before I have the baby. The good thing about my fibroids right now, they're not in the same location. The location where they were before, and why I had to remove them, is because they were blocked. They were like sort of in the way of my fallopian tubes, and that's why I couldn't get pregnant. I knew nothing about why I couldn't get pregnant or why I had a miscarriage or what was going on with my body. I just knew I wasn't getting pregnant and I wanted to have a child, but it's because this big one at the time, about 4 or 5 years ago, was blocking to where I couldn't have a baby. Isn't that crazy? So, and it grew, and it grew, and the tumor grew until I got even bigger than this. You know, I couldn't find a grapefruit bigger than this, but my first set of fibroids, that one out of the 4 I had that first time, that one, I wish I could fight fibroids because I wanted to fight that fibroid. It gave me hell. It really, really did. Back pain, pelvic pain, constant urination. I had my menstruals extended to 20 days. I was bleeding so much. I became highly anemic. So I was always shaking and I was fainting. And my first go-to, I've always told you guys, if I was to remove them, I would definitely try the UFE with USA Fibroid Centers, of course. Come on, I'm a brand ambassador for an amazing companies that have removed fibroids from thousands of different women and changed their lives because it interrupts your daily life. It interrupts your relationships. It interrupts you mentally, and you have to understand your mental health is very, very important. So it definitely affects your mental health. It affected mine. I became very sad, depressed, distant. I cut off everybody. I was embarrassed. I would cry all the time. I gave up on a lot of things that I was dealing with, and it sucks. It really sucks. It really, really does. And I'm like, it's no secret. I'm a brand ambassador for USA Fibroid Centers. I talk about it all the time, which makes it easier to make my decision. Now I'm aware of more of my options. The UFE is the option now. It wasn't an option before. So talking to you guys have helped me more than you think. Be open. Talk about it. If anybody ever wanted to reach out to me, I'm here. I understand you. I would definitely refer you to USA Fibroid Centers. They have locations located all around the U.S. and they will let you know your best options. They will do an ultrasound and do a consultation with you, just so you know your options. And they will do things with you that I wasn't able to do when I went to my doctor. They gave me minimum information. I didn't know I would have complications with my pregnancy. Placenta previa, I had that because I went and had a myomectomy. I had so many complications with my pregnancy because of this myomectomy, and I do not want you to make the same mistake that I did, because we all know when it comes to doctors, it costs more to have that myomectomy done than to have a small procedure of a UFE, which is minimum cost. And a lot of you don't know that UFE procedure, which is done at USA Fibroid Centers, it can be covered by most insurance companies.